Hi, friends. I hope everyone could hear me. Give me a quick sound check. I'm using another microphone today, and I'm also using the Starlink. So hopefully, we won't have any crackling in the mic or anything. So if one of my moderators could give me a quick sound check, that would be great. I just want to make sure I tested this stuff yesterday for about an hour to make sure it was all working okay. And so, on my end, it looks great, but I can't tell until you guys are, giving me a heads up. So give me an opportunity here and let me know if you could hear me. Okay. So we're going to get started. There's a lot of information to cover. I'm going to do it as quickly as possible. And so, Sabrina, thank you. Wonderful. I appreciate it. Um, there's so much going on here as we go into this month. And so there's going to be a lot of changes coming our way. And as you can see from the title here, I called this one the next 6 months of surprises because we are in for it and it starts this month. And I was tuning into this morning and it's going to get real interesting, going forward. So, anyway, I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to give it about 2 more minutes and then I'm going to start because right after this, of course, every week I have my Zoom call in my community. And so if you guys are interested in joining that, I left the link down below. And we're going to be diving in deeper into what I'm talking about today. I'm going to be going over the astrology with my community. And of course, there I could talk a lot more freely than I can over here. So anyway, I see all the people signing in, and I really appreciate all of you being here. Um, Bex Bureau, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. I know you're in the chat area there, Bex Bureau. Also, thank you so much, Kay, for your generosity. Okay, all good. Thank you, Bex Bureau. I don't know because, I hope it's not crackling either because I've got the Starlink. I think last time the internet was going in and out and the microphone kept crackling. So I apologize for that, friends. I'm in a rural area, so the internet is not that great. So even the Starlink goes down a little bit every now and then. So thank you so much, Tanya and Highway Runner. We're going to start off in about 50 seconds, and I want to just give you guys a heads up. Many of you have been following me a while. You know what I've been talking about, that there are going to be drastic changes occurring as we go into 2025 and into the middle of 2025. So you guys have a heads up. For all you newbies that are joining me here, I'm a professional astrologer and a psychic medium. I've been seeing things my whole life, having premonitions and so on. And we all have that ability, but some of us just a little bit more stronger than others. That's all it means. And so, the things that I've seen so far have actually come to pass. And I've made predictions, and it's hard when you make predictions because timelines are rough. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to get started, and today I've got some very important information that I need to share with you guys, and I want you to just stay away from the fear because some of the stuff that I see coming is going to affect the Southwest. And I'm doing this as an astrologer, and I'm doing this as a psychic, and there are a couple of other psychics that are also seeing the same thing on the internet. So I'm going to confirm this because as we get closer to these dates, our spidey senses, all of us, start going off the charts. And for me, it's very important because I'm now somebody that talks to people and helps them understand what's going on. So I have to share information. So we are entering that weird danger zone that I've been talking about. And this is one that's going to be really strong because of the astrology. So if you've been following my astrology, you know that I've been talking about the solar eclipses. We had one last month. We have this one. But that's not really the big story. The big story is coming in basically the middle of the month. After the 9th of October, the energy starts to get more intense. Yes, more intense energy. I've gotten so many comments. When's it going to stop? When's it going to stop? I can't take this anymore. Friends, this is what happens when there's dramatic change in the world. We all start feeling, collectively like something is going to happen. And that's the energy. and it's coming from space, and the astrology is indicating it as well. And it's just the way it is. And yes, there is manipulation taking place, no doubt about it. And you guys know what I'm talking about. Frequency manipulation is absolutely taking place. And there's overwhelming evidence of this. But the core of this energy is coming from galactic center, which we have no control over. And this is what they're manipulating, because that energy coming in from galactic center is actually very positive energy that is meant to help us. But these psychopaths that run the planet, or the matrix, or the simulation, whatever you want to call it, is manipulating that frequency so it doesn't affect us as quickly, and we don't awaken as quickly as we should. That's what's actually happening. So the middle of the month, from the 9th on into the full moon, high intense energy coming in. And this is as an astrologer now, because Mars is going to begin to oppose Pluto. Venus is opposing Uranus, and I've showed you this in other presentations. Just go back to my solar eclipse video. And so that's going to be intense energy, and it doesn't let up all the way to the end of the month into November. So I've already started the November horoscopes and looking over the November horoscopes, and it still, the beginning of the month of November looks very, strong and tumultuous. And what does that mean for us? That means we're going to be feeling edgy. We're going to be feeling irritated. We're going to be feeling restless. Many people are having trouble sleeping. I too, sleep for 3 hours and then I'm tossing and turning. I'm back up again. It's a frustrating sleep. So we are coming into this weird time. And so pay attention. This week, something could occur. And then 2 weeks from today, I'll be on live stream again. Hopefully we have internet. But anyway, and we'll be talking about it. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up of what I see coming, and some of these surprises that are going to be in the mix. Okay, and I'm going to give you some states too that I need you to pay attention to, because these states are going to be affected in the next 2 months, just in the next 2 months alone, because of this crazy election we have coming. Okay, so think in terms of the deep state around the world. That means the families that have been running this planet into the ground, their criminal corporations, their puppets in politics, and they control almost all of them around the world. They're bribed or extorted into doing what they're supposed to do. And it happens at the local level, state level, and the federal level. And it's so obvious to those of us that could see it. So stop with the Democrat and Republican nonsense. It's deep state versus your own freedom. That's the key. Okay, so keep that in mind. So because of the astrology alignments that are coming up, I'm seeing some stuff that it's a little unpleasant, and it's in the Southwest. Last night I picked up on this. For some reason, I kept getting the Southwest. I'm drawn to the Southwest. I've always kind of sensed there was something coming up. And if you remember a few videos ago, probably in the springtime or in the middle of the summer, I said to watch Arizona. Okay, so those of you that have been following me, why I said watch Arizona, because Pluto had entered Aquarius. Arizona is an Aquarius state. It was founded and created on February 14th. But there are a couple of other states also under Aquarius. There is Kansas, that's also an Aquarius state. There's Massachusetts, that's an Aquarius state. And there is Oregon, that's an Aquarius state. So I want you to watch those states for major disruptions or events, with the people, or maybe there's weather events or something that is created in these states that I talked about. But I want to primarily focus on Arizona. Not only do I live in Arizona, but Arizona, I know there's going to be major changes in this state somehow. And so there's been a lot of talk from the judges and, the Supreme Court. But Arizona here is basically a captured operation, and means both the Democrats and the Republicans are following orders. And the Supreme Court said that I think it was 218,000 voters didn't exist. But we're going to keep them on the rolls anyway. I mean, this is the insanity going on here. But anyway, the reason I'm saying Arizona and the Southwest, remember I also said we may not have an election because of an event that occurs. Unfortunately, the event I'm seeing, and I'm piecing this together with the astrology, and I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. but there's going to be something that affects the Southwest, possibly with one of the nuclear power plants. That's the Palo Verde nuclear power plant in southern Arizona. You can look it up yourself. Now, I've always gotten this weird, eerie feeling every time I drove by that plant. First of all, it's very dangerous. Okay, that stuff gets into the air. It's basically going to kill people. And I'm not suggesting that's going to happen. I'm putting it out there because my spidey sensors are picking up something to do with the Southwest. So I went online and I looked around to see what we have in the area that could be very destructive if, let's say, a laser were to hit it or some sort of strange weather anomaly was to destroy that power plant. Okay. Now, again, I'm saying I hope I'm wrong. I hope that this does not happen. And all of you should just meditate and just envision it not happening. And the reason I'm saying this is because if something that horrific were to happen, it may cause a lot of change in society. The problem is it may happen this month in October, towards the end of the month, or in this time zone that I'm talking about here, because it's such chaotic energy, and I mean, the whole month, the rest of the month is off the charts. Sun squaring Pluto, Venus squaring Saturn, Venus opposing Uranus. These are all tough alignments. Now, I don't say this to be negative. I don't say this to, project fear. I don't want this to happen. That's why I'm saying it, is that all of you people listening to me, meditate, don't pray and beg, meditate and envision nothing happening to Arizona, just very peaceful and everything is calm. This month is going to be relaxed, protect the state from any damage or any destruction. Now, I'm focusing on Arizona because that's the only nuclear power plant that I see in the area. I looked at New Mexico. Now they've got all their underground nonsense going on over there, and Southern California as well. Now, the other thing that could happen is because we've had these strange weather anomalies, and if you know what I'm talking about when I say strange, these are not normal. That hurricane that went up, was not normal. Into Thin Air did a wonderful job of showing you how that thing was being manipulated. Okay. And so that's the YouTube channel for those of you who don't know, Into Thin Air. And so what I'm seeing is some event that takes place before the election that is going to take our attention away. And that's what I'm seeing. And I think it's going to be in the Southwest. I think it's going to be in Arizona to be in particular. But it could be a strange hurricane that comes out of nowhere on the West Coast and all of a sudden goes through Baja, Mexico into Arizona and causes devastating destruction. At the same time, wipes out that power plant. You see what I'm saying? So again, I hope I'm wrong. And I hope it doesn't happen. I'm gonna keep tuning into it and going, universe, higher consciousness, protect that power plant. If there's anything, sabotage or attacks or of any kind. And it's so interesting to me because I'm not a scientist, but I did a lot of research with the power plants. There's no reason we have to use nuclear power or plutonium. We could use thorium. If you guys are scientists out there and you've done some homework, thorium is a much safer element to use to power and create electricity. And so there's no reason we need to use plutonium. It's destructive. We can't get rid of it. It's a waste product. It kills. We should be using thorium. And maybe enough of us will wake up and start realizing, that is a better option. We could use that, and it's a lot safer to use to power our, for electricity. So anyway, I just want to give you that heads up. That's one of the major surprises that I see coming. In the next 6 months, there are more surprises coming out, especially when, and this month we also have Pluto going direct. Pluto is going to be the last time it's going to be in Capricorn. So things that were hidden were going to come to the surface once again with the control mechanism, with, the powers that shouldn't be. This is all coming forward. And next month on November the 19th, Pluto leaves Capricorn and goes into Aquarius for the next 18 to 20 years. This is humanity waking up. Okay. So this is why I'm also saying this. So things that are going to be in the public news that we need to pay attention to. Number one is going to be obviously the election. If we have an election, if it goes calmly, which we astrologers go, no, it's not going to be calm. No freaking way is it going to be calm. Mars is opposing Pluto. That right there enough. If you guys know what astrology is, you could look it up for yourself. What does Mars opposing Pluto mean? It's usually combative, destructive, anger, frustration, military. It's very destructive. Okay, and we're gonna be feeling it. We're all be feeling on edge. You know, and so don't take it personally. When I say that, don't take it personally like you're the only one that it's happening to. No, everyone's. I feel it too. And what do? I combat it. I go for a walk. I go outside. I go to a lake. I do something productive to overcome that. You understand? It's about balancing. Anyway, so we have that going on. So the election is going to be front and center all the way into 2025. So there could be a draw, where each side has 269 electoral votes. Now, there is this possibility if we do have an election, and I've put this out before, and I know a lot of you Trump supporters, and I'm a Trump supporter as well. And I said, because he's awakening humanity, it's very possible Kamala could, or they give the election to Kamala as some sort of military move. And what I mean by that is, I've been saying, and again, I can't prove any of this. I could only go by what I've tuned into and some of the information that I've actually gotten from people on the inside. Okay. And they're very tight-lipped about what's going on. But as I've been saying all along, this is now going on 4 years, that there's a military operation that seems to be taking place worldwide, not just the United States. And they're trying their best to awaken humanity. And as they do that, they're trying to remove some of the corruption around the world. That means in Russia, that means in China, that means in some of these other countries, and especially in the United States. So in order to do that, they have to make some moves in order to, hide behind all of the stuff that they're doing. And one of the things, unfortunately, may be that they give the election to Kamala Harris. And that's going to piss off the right, as you know. Okay. The astrology favors her just a tiny bit. And I mean a tiny bit, like by a hair. Okay. But again, it's too close to call. And I've listened to other astrologers and see what they say and their vantage point. I think it's going to be either a non-election, or it's going to be so close that they say it's a draw, then it goes to the Supreme Court, and then we have this thing dragged out for months. And then whatever happens, like I've said, it's not going to be pretty. Whether Trump wins or Kamala wins, it's not going to be pretty. People are going to be pissed because Mars is opposing Pluto. And so there's another surprise, okay, for those new to my channel. And I've said this, it's a very tricky time. The other thing is coming is the economy. That is absolutely going to nosedive in some way. And I'm not saying this to be negative. The financial system is a giant Ponzi scheme, meaning they print money out of nowhere and then they charge interest on it. Okay, how many of you guys know that? I know a lot of you are pretty smart and you know this already, but you newbies, okay? The Federal Reserve is not federal. It's a private company, and there are many banks behind it. And they lend money to the governments, not just the United States, around the world. They lend the money to the governments. Oh, you need money for military? You need money for war? You need money for this? You need money for social programs? Great. Let us lend it to you at 47% interest. You see how the scheme works? No money is in existence. No precious metal no longer backs the dollar or any other currency for that matter, except for the BRICS nations. They're actually backing their currency. So the economy is going to shift, and it's just a matter of when. Okay. And we astrologers and many others are saying the same damn thing over and over again. It should have already happened. It should have already happened. Maybe this is part of the so-called white hat operation to slow things down so too much change doesn't happen all at once. Okay, because too many people rely on governments. their pensions, their military benefits, so many workers and someone like that. If you go over to a new currency, it may cause so much confusion that these people don't know what to do. So the next, and this is just in the next 6 months. This is not like, the next couple of years. No, it's the next 6 months because of the astrology. Okay. So we have the economy. The fourth thing that I see happening is so many people that have been on the fence or don't know what the hell is going on are going to be shocked. And I mean, literally shocked about some of the information that comes out. And so I think Cliff High talks about it, the normies. The normies will be pissed. The normies will be angry. And what he means by that is people that are just not awake, that don't understand what's happening, who've been listening to mainstream media and believing every word of the lying that's going on. They're going to be pissed. And so you got people awakening that are not ready to awaken. At least many of you that have been listening to me or other people for a while know or have an idea of what's going on. And again, you can't be 100% on what's going on, but at least you have an idea of what's going on. Some of these folks who took, 3 or 4 and 6 of those things in the arm there, they're clueless. You don't go and get, 5 or 6 of these things in the arm and expect to know what the hell's going on. You're just following orders, and so because they're living in fear. So we're going to see a lot more people waking up and getting frustrated. And so that's part of their surprises. And they're not going to deal with it very well, especially when they realize everything is organized crime. When I went down the rabbit hole years ago and I started connecting the dots and realizing that there's many families or an organization that's been controlling humanity for thousands of years. And yes, it does go into the extraterrestrial realm because a lot of these ancient texts, especially the Sumerian tablets, talk about beings that appeared out of nowhere after a flood, and they were tall. And Jason Breshears talks about this as well, the Anu or the Anunnaki, and basically help humanity rebuild. But they weren't exactly benefiting humanity. They were benefiting themselves. And they've been in control ever since. And they do this through religions. All 3 of the major religions are still being influenced by these beings. They're human, humanoid, whatever. That's another topic that's going to surprise the hell out of everyone. When you find out the real history of humanity, and that extraterrestrials do exist, or interdimensional beings that are either living underground or have spacecraft or able to, transverse time and move through time and space, that's going to shock many people. And of course, the government, our sneaky government's already admitted it, with those pilots chasing these things in the air. I mean, there's so much evidence. It's ridiculous. And some of it may be our own technology, So that's going to be another area that's going to really shake people up. And this is all in the next 6 months. So we're going to realize organized crime at the highest level. If you thought the mafia was bad, the Italian mafia in the 20th century with their criminality, that is nothing compared to how they've been controlling the world through religion, through the banking system, through all of their institutions that they implemented, the public school, the medical facilities, okay, the military mindset, the conditioning people. I mean, it's just incredible to watch it. A lot of that information is going to come out too. It's going to surprise the hell out of everyone, and many people are going to get frustrated. Oh my God, that's what happened to me, friends. About 25, 30 years ago when I started diving deeper into like some of the David Icke books or Jim Marrs, even Jordan Maxwell, I was just taking it all in and reading and understanding. And I'm like, oh my God, I was believing in a bunch of garbage, and then I started realizing what was going on. And that's what's happening. And that's what's going to continue to happen. So that's part of the awakening process. These criminal families that have been basically poisoning humanity through drugs and military operations and gun sales and all this other stuff. Okay, controlling humanity to benefit themselves. And you, some of you people know who I'm talking about. The family members. You know who they are. Some of them still have control. So that's another area that's going to surprise many people. Okay, the extraterrestrial stuff is going to shock many people. And at that point, it's going to be very tricky to believe in the current religions And this is why I've said this before, actually a couple of years ago, different presentations. I said all religions are going to go away. It's just a matter of like one generation or so, because the truth starts coming out, and then they start realizing, holy crap, I started believing in all this nonsense, and it's misinterpreted, rewritten, and it's a control mechanism. And so that's going to change too, and that's going to surprise everybody. And again, this is all in the next 6 months. All this information is keep pouring out. And those of us that are willing to understand it and go, okay, we're going to deal with it. Let's move forward. We'll be fine. But it's the main population that is not going to be able to handle all this stuff that's going to have a real tough time with it. Okay, especially in 2025 when we have major planets changing signs. I've talked about this before. Uranus goes into Gemini in July, and we have Saturn and Neptune are going to be switching signs into Aries. Okay, one of them is in March, and I think the other one's in May, into Aries. These three are not calm and collective. Oh, yeah, everything's going to be great. Yeah, no, I want change. You lied to us. We need change. We need innovation. So the energy gets ramped up even more, and it all starts in March. So this is why I'm saying the next 6 months. And I did a whole video on this, and I'm going to do the 2025 video as well coming up real soon. I'm working on that too. So I've got a lot going on, friends. So we have the economy, we have information, people controlling us. Now, the other thing that I want to share with you ties into that first one that I put out there. It was explosions and things related to water. This is absolutely a possibility here. And again, I hope I'm wrong, because anything to do with Uranus, when Uranus moves, right now it's in retrograde in Taurus. When it moves forward, there's always a chance of explosions, surprises, revelations, awarenesses, all of this stuff that comes into being. And in July of next year, that's unfortunately what I'm seeing, because Pluto will be in Aquarius, which is humanity awakening. Uranus will be in Gemini, communication, anything to do with communication, cell towers, phones, internet, anything to do with communication is now on the table. So many people have asked me, when's it going to get better? Friends, 2026 looks a whole lot better. Okay. But first we have to go through the mud. This is what we're doing right now. And I've tried to tell people this, there's no way we're getting out of 2024 and into the middle of 2025 without some discomfort. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be fear-based. It's just what it is. It's just the cycles that come in and they force us to change. They shake us. They go, hey, pay attention. You're not listening. You're not paying attention. And that's what this is. This is the wake up. This is the shaking that's taking place that has to happen to the average person. Not you guys listening to me, because most of you guys know, especially my friends in the community, which again, I will be going on there right after this. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a few questions, maybe the next 10 minutes or so, and we'll cut this short at, as I usually do, at about 11:45, so I could give people a chance to go into my private community, or if they want to sign up, the link is down below, and my moderators are on here right now and standing by. And so in that, today we talk about astrology. I'm going to go into some of the astrology for some of the people in the public right now, and I'll continue this conversation there. Of course, there I could talk a lot more freely here than I can here. So the big news is, let's meditate on nothing happening to the Southwest by the end of this month, okay? And I don't mean fear. You don't want to manifest fear. You want to just envision a giant bubble of light or energy around the Southwest. That way, if they try anything, it's going to be much more difficult. You see, one of the things that this group of psychopaths that runs this planet fears is humanity waking up and uniting. That's their biggest fear, because it's not that we're going to chase them with pitchforks. That's going to happen too. But it's our collective energy. We get together, large groups of people get together and say, enough. No, you're not controlling us anymore. We create so much energy that they cannot combat it. You understand? So think in terms of energy. Anyway, let me uh, let me look at my moderators here. I've got some questions here. All right, I've got Star Brother. Is normal shop business organized crime? No. To answer your question, no. The small mom and pop shops, the smaller companies, no, they're not organized crime. It's the big criminal companies like Walmart and the big banks, any large entity that's part of the cabal. Those are the organized crime syndicates, not the normal shops. That's not them. Okay, so I'm a big advocate of using your money as power. Deal with the smaller companies, deal with the mom and pop shops, pay in cash, because this forces the banks. Two things happen: the banks don't make any money, Visa, Mastercard don't make any money, and we keep circulating currency around. You understand? So I would absolutely advocate supporting smaller businesses. All right, I've got another question here. Are we going into Christ energy consciousness, spiritual awakening for the next 20 years? Please explain what Christ consciousness is and why they call it that. You have to understand, especially you folks who are religious, the Christ consciousness goes back all the way to the Sumerian Babylonian time. There was so much talk and so much written, and Jason Brashears could be an absolute wealth of information, because I got a lot of information from him as well. This Christ consciousness is Christ is a word from Greek. It means Christos. Okay, it means anointed, the one. You and I are anointed. We are the one because we have the Christ, or the God consciousness, or the energy, the Christos. We were anointed to come back down into this physical reality. And so over time, we've gotten further and further away from that understanding, even though many Christians still understand it, but now they have a figure in front, Jesus, in order to sort of look at, and I hate to say worship, but they do in many ways. But if you understand the core essence of Christ energy, it is light. It is, it's the light from the source, and it's not a gray-haired man in the sky. It's the energy. It's all I could say is it's energy, and that is the Christ consciousness. Now, after 2026, when the dust is settled, we have an opportunity, yes, to awaken more of that Christ consciousness in us because of the astrology as well. But right now, the battle is the dark ones don't want us to awaken. You understand? So the next 20 years, it's tricky, because I think we're going to have waves of energy coming in, and there are going to be a couple of years that everything's great. But the most important part is for humanity to awaken and understand who it is. It's a spiritual energy, Christ energy, in a physical body having an experience. And the more of us that awaken to that understanding, the better we all are. And then we have an opportunity for 20 years of peace and higher consciousness and awareness. Okay, I hope that helps. All right, so I got Georgetta. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Do you guys think the communion ritual in Mass is actual a cannibal ritual to the evil fallen angels? You know what? A lot of the rituals that they do is about you giving your power away, whether it's a Mass communion or whatever you want to call it. They're feeding off of your energy. You're basically saying, and this is the sad part about religion, because many people that find religion don't have a strong will. They're at a low point in their life where they need help, and they turn to God, some form of God, and something inside of them changes. But the problem is when they get involved in their rituals and their ceremonies, you are giving your power away to the leadership of these institutions. Do you understand? You're saying, yeah, take me. Oh, I'm part of this religion. I'm part of that religion. Yeah, do what you want. I'll follow whatever you say. You're giving your own God power away, and you're giving it to the leadership. And the Vatican is a perfect example of that. The Jewish faith is a perfect example of that. The Muslim faith is a perfect example of that. The people at the top basically are being controlled, or controlling humanity, or controlling the people that follow them. So yes, it's part of a ritual, but I don't look at things as good and evil. It's it's energy being siphoned off of these people, and they don't even realize it. So I hope that helps you. Okay, Tanya, I'm hearing from other astrologers that some of us are going into light body. Any comments? Well, light body, we already have a light body, but it's being suppressed by this physical suit. The light body means more activating the energy in your consciousness to become more loving and more open and to be more sharing. That's what's actually happening. So on one level, yes, it's already happened to many people, including myself. There are times I just feel euphoric for no reason, and that's the energy within myself that's vibrating at a higher level. And that's what the awakening is you're waking up more of the energy in your body, which is light. Every cell in your body is light. It's just vibrating light. Okay, this is what scientists have proven for the last 120 years or so. But the Indians from India have known this for thousands of years, that all of our cells are just empty space vibrating, and they're, kind of put together by the forces of gravity, holding everything into this physical suit. You follow? So, yes, we are awakening more of the light body, those of us that are able to do it. And it's very simple. Nature, the natural world, feed your body healthy food, stay away from negative people or situations or anger or frustration. It's all energy. You keep yourself at least neutral and then, raise it up a little bit, you'll be fine. All right, we've got Sabrina. Do you see anything about earthquakes in Northern California? Yes, unfortunately, Sabrina, that is a possibility. One of the states that I did mention here that's an Aquarian state is Oregon. And so whatever's going to occur, and we also have Alaska that is Capricorn state. Okay. So I want to just share with you some of the Capricorn states. We have Alaska, that's a Capricorn state. We have Georgia, that's a Capricorn state. We have New Mexico, that's a Capricorn state. And we have Texas, that's a Capricorn state. Now, the reason I brought this up is because Pluto is still in Capricorn right now. And these states may be affected somehow, some way. But California is not. It will be affected, yes. But I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I think it'll be in a couple of years. But it really depends on the weather. And, if it's being enhanced or if it's being changed or manipulated in somehow. But I think it's going to start in Alaska, go down the coastline of Oregon, whatever it is. Could be an earthquake, could be something that happens out in the ocean, because we know there's tectonic plates out there that are shifting under the water. And look at Japan. Japan is a perfect example of that. Those are tectonic plates out in the ocean that are shifting and moving underneath. And when they do, they cause this ripple effect of the water. So I would say keep an eye on Alaska for earthquakes, Oregon, Washington, all up in that region there, because California will be affected by that with water. Remember, the vision I had when I did that deep meditation about a year ago was larger waves hitting the entire West Coast, not devastating them in the sense that, it was going to be complete devastation, but these waves were really big. And if you're close to the water, yes, there's going to be some devastation there. A lot of people have houses on the beach, like Malibu and in San Diego. Friends, a 10, 20-foot wave could wipe out some of those houses along the shore, and it ain't going to be pretty. So yes, there is that possibility, that this is also part of the Southwest, that Southern California, Los Angeles, Arizona, New Mexico, that's all part of the Southwest. So it's definitely a possibility. Watch if there's a storm that comes out of nowhere in the southern, the Gulf along Mexico. We already had one I think it was about a year and a half ago. We had an unusual storm coming up on the Pacific. Remember that? It went into Mexico, and then it slowly went up to California coast and then died out. And so, it did already occur. So that is a possibility as well. But it feels like the southern part of the United States. All right. I hope that helps you. All right. We have J. Rowe. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right here. Let me see here. Hold on. I just lost that one. No, here we go. Let's see. California. If you had an ability to ask Trump and Kamala the same question regarding astrology, what would it be? And what do you think they would say? First of all, Trump knows all about astrology. Trump has been using all kinds of metaphysical people and feng shui people for his buildings. Every building he's ever built, he's done the geometry on it. He's done the astrology on it. He's done the feng shui on it. So this guy is absolutely into understanding the physics. Trump, it's not that I would ask him. I would say, Mr. Trump, what the hell did you get yourself into in this lifetime? Because this guy has very chaotic energy because he was born under a lunar eclipse, but he also has the ability to transform. He's got a very strong dynamic energy. And so I would literally want to talk to him a little bit more about metaphysics, and I hope he would answer. And I'm saying, things like, you do realize the kind of energy it's influencing your body and your soul. And so I know he would understand that. Kamala, on the other hand, I would say, hun, I know you sold your soul to be where you are, or you were chosen for whatever reason. And I would say to her, I hope you made the right choice. I hope you made the right choice, because to me, Kamala is kind of an empty suit. And I said that based on her astrology, because, she's got that Libra energy. She's got that a full moon opposing Aries. She's been very lucky in her life, and she got in with the right people. And all of a sudden she started climbing the ladder, and they chose her to be a representative somewhere. Okay. So she basically sold her soul, like many people do, in politics or in positions of power. So I would say, I hope you enjoy, what you've gotten in this lifetime. And so that's what I would ask. And not to put her down or anything, but I'm saying, you realize the choices you've made and what you've gotten yourself into, and I would ask both of them that anyway. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up there. And, I'm going to get ready right after this call at 12 noon to go into my inner circle community. I've left a link down below for those of you who want to join. We're doing so much in there. Every week we have that community, and we're going to go much deeper into this in there. I'll have some charts to show people about the astrology for the month. We're going to be focusing on a couple of other people that are in the news, and we'll go over their charts. And of course, the people in there start asking me a whole lot of questions. I also do the astrology for the week in there. And of course, something new that I'm starting next month is extended horoscope videos. And that'll be in the inner circle as well. So especially if you want to learn astrology, I teach astrology in there twice a month. And so we'll go over all of that as well. So anyway, I just want to give you guys a heads up for those of you that are interested, link down below. And so, I know we have so many other questions here because I'm looking at the sign, that, some people are basically wanting to know about the Northeast. Look, if you live in one of these major cities, especially in the United States, just expect disruption. Okay. Look at what this hurricane did. Okay. And I'm just going to wrap it up here in a few minutes. Just look at what this hurricane did. That came up through Georgia and Florida and into North Carolina. This was not a normal hurricane. So stuff like that could happen. What appears to be normal weather is not normal weather. And because the East Coast, does get affected by winter storms, I was in New York when we had, I believe it was Hurricane Sandy. I was literally in New York and I could not get out of New York. This was in, 2003 or something like that, 2013. I don't remember when it was. Okay. I was there watching this storm, and my family had a big brick house. So we felt the wind just pounding away, and the power lines, everything was moving and shaking. But the worst part of it was the flooding of the airports. If you remember, all of the airports in New York, the 2.5 airports were flooded, 3 to 4 feet of water. The planes couldn't take off. And so I had to stay an extra 3 days in New York, and I had to go to Newark Airport at like 12 midnight and wait overnight for the first flight to get the hell out of there. And I couldn't get a car. The car services weren't running. Nothing was running. That's the kind of nonsense I was seeing. So these coming months is a total wild card of energy that could be weather related, affecting different regions. Okay. So keep that in mind, and so that's part of it. And we're seeing this right now. And this is why I keep saying to people, just prepare without the fear. Go buy 3 to 6 months worth of dry food or something. Store it up. Store food. Keep it dry, just in case we can't get to the store. Now, that strike that was going on, the longshoreman stuff, that ended in one day, but it didn't really end because it's only temporary until I believe it's January 15th of 2025, So something is going on here, as you could see. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on all this. I appreciate you all tuning in here. And I'm going to give some of the people time to prepare to go into the inner circle. And the link is down below. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. And, together we awaken. Together, we're stronger. Stay out of fear. Stay out of anger. Just understand what's happening to all of us. We're awakening. The energy is shaking us at our core. And the manipulators are trying their best to keep us separated and angry and frustrated. Don't feed into it. That's my suggestion. And so, keep your energy high. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you for your support over the years. And now it's needed, as much as possible. So shine the light as bright as you can and stay optimistic. Things will eventually change for the better. All right. Have a great Sunday, and I will see you guys soon. Bye for now.